Always remember that all bones together form skeleton, and skeleton gives a shape to the body. All the bones of the body, along with cartilage, together form the skeletal system. Can you feel your bones? What do you feel? Bones are hard. They are not flexible. Bones are composed of two main constituents. Bone cells are biotic, while calcium carbonate, calcium phosphate, minerals and salts are the abiotic constituents of bones. Calcium imparts strength to the bones. The system which gives a definite shape to the body, provides support, and protects the delicate organs inside the body is the skeletal system.
Students of our body are classified into 4 types. Types of bones are flat bones, example, sternum; small bones, example, hand bones and leg bones; irregular bones, example, spine; and long bones, example, hand bones and leg bones. Can you tell? Dear students, can you identify the animals from the pictures of their skeletons? This is a skeleton of a horse. This is a skeleton of a dinosaur. This is a skeleton of a fish. This is a skeleton of a snake. Division of human skeletal system. The human skeletal system can be divided into 2 parts, the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. Let's repeat, the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton consists of the skull, the spine and the rib cage. These are situated symmetrically along the central vertical axis of the body. The appendicular skeleton is made up of the bones of the upper and lower limbs, that is arms and legs, on either side of the central axis. Students, with the help of this mind map, you can easily memorize the human skeletal system. So let's have a look. Human skeletal system is divided into 2 parts. Axial skeleton, which consists of skull, spine and rib cage, and appendicular skeleton, which consists of hands and legs. Understood? Do you know our height increases with growing age? As our body grows, the size and length of our bones increases. Such changes in size and length can be seen in children according to age. However, the body continues to grow only up to a certain limit. The bones of taller people are longer. But students, imagine if we just did not stop growing. We would all be giants. Students, you can get following questions. Students, you know that the axial skeleton consists of the skull, the rib cage and the spine. Let us learn them in detail. Skull. The skull is formed by the bones of the head and face. The bones of the skull are flat and strong. There are altogether 22 bones in the skull, 8 in the head and 14 in the face. Yes, there are many bones in your face. Except for the lower jaw, none of the bones of the skull can move. Which organs of our body does the skull protect? You are absolutely right. The skull protects the brain, eyes and tongue. Now, move on to the second part of the axial skeleton.
Rib cage. Students, feel the left and right sides of your chest with your hand. You will find the cage-like structure. Can you feel it? This is known as the rib cage. In the chest, there is one vertical, flat bone called the sternum. 12 pairs of flat bones called ribs are joined to it sideways. These 25 bones form the rib cage. It is joined to the spine at the back. Now move on to the third part of the axial skeleton.
The spine or the backbone or the vertebral column. The spine is formed by padlock-shaped bones placed straight one above the other. There are altogether 33 bones in the spine, each called a vertebra. These bones are arranged one above the other flexibly. The spine protects the spinal cord that originates from the brain. What would have happened if we didn't have a backbone? Have you ever wondered? If we didn't have a backbone, we would not be able to stand erect. Students, you can get following questions. Skeleton. The human body has 2 arms and 2 legs. The different parts of the arms and legs have several bones which are connected together by joints. Do you know there are 3 bones in each of the ears? Of these, the stirrup is the smallest bone in our body. It is as small as a grain of rice and it is hollow. Its shape is like that of a stirrup. In the human body, the longest and the strongest bone is the thigh bone or the femur. Will you remember? The longest and strongest bone is femur. Very good. Try this. Students, the different parts of your body from the head to the toes can move easily. Observe the different places at which your body parts can bend or turn. It's interesting to see where all and what all we can bend, right? The bones in our body are connected to each other by means of ligaments. Students, joints are the places where 2 or more than 2 bones are connected to each other. Joints are of 2 types: movable joint and immovable joint. Movable joint bones can move. Examples: bones of arms and legs, and immovable joint bones cannot move. Example: bones of the skull, other than the lower jaw. Movable joint are further divided into 3 types: hinge joint, ball and socket joint, and gliding joint. Let us now study types of movable joints in detail. Are you paying attention? Good. Then let's move on. Types of movable joints. We know that there are 3 types of movable joints: hinge joint, ball and socket joint, and gliding joint. Let us learn about first type of movable joints, that is hinge joint. This type of joint allows the movements of bones only in one direction. It moves in a 180-degree angle. Examples: the elbow and knee joints. Second type of movable joints is ball and socket joint. In this type of joint, the bones can move in 2 or more directions in a 360-degree angle. Examples: shoulder and hip joints. And the third type of movable joints is gliding joint. In this type of joint, the bones can only slide over each other. Examples: wrist and ankle joints. Try moving these joints now, if you can, to understand better. Students,